Howdy, y'all. We're here with. Can I go now? I guess we'll do it live. Anyway, take two. Howdy, y'all. We're here again to tell you what's happening. And I have a wonderful producer who likes to keep me on track. Thank you very much, Maddie. But yeah, if you're not subscribed to Objectively Subjective, I don't know what you're doing with your life. And we also have #Heathen.
Hey, yeah.
And Faithless Southerner.
Howdy, y'all.
Maddie, you're muted.
I'm not muted. They're lies. I'm not muted.
You're usually muted.
I'm not muted. I know I'm not.
I'm just saying what the chat's saying. Jeez.
Yeah, well, anyway.
Cake is a lie.
I have some wonderful news, so yeah. I just got a new patron.
Yay!
Thank you very much, Ahana. Yeah. Enjoy the Snarknado. Whatever that is. But yeah. Anyways, so I guess we'll just jump right into it. So do y'all think that we're heading toward a recession or not? Just
yeah.
The end.
The end?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think, Evans?
I think that it's a high chance. I think it's a good chance.
A good chance?
Very likely. I'm hopeful that it's not, but I think that we're more likely than not at this point in time.
Yeah, but Trump is telling us, and we have to believe him, right?
Trump.
Yeah, Trump is telling us that the economy is only going to crash if he loses re-election. And even if you don't like him, you should vote for him because he's the only way that we can get strong growth and low unemployment rates.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. Oh.
I mean, that totally makes sense to me. I mean, how are we going to save ourselves from a recession if we don't reelect the person that put us here?
Yeah, I mean, This guy, he looks like a stable genius. He talks like a stable genius. He holds rallies like a stable genius. And if you read his transcripts, they're totally coherent. So anyway, apparently in private, Trump is kind of worried about this too. And he's worried about how to affect the election. So yeah, a lot of the financial markets have been showing signs of quote unquote anxiety. Right. And a lot of this has to do with Trump's imposing tariffs on China. Yeah. And also there's other European economies that are shrinking, according to this, United Kingdom and Germany. So yeah, this is going to be really bad for the president, right? If you have a weak economy, you're looking for re-election, and all along you based your entire campaign on economics. We're going to fix the economy. It's going to be great. Look how great it is. Winning, right?
Winning. So sick of winning.
Yeah. And if we're not winning, it's totally not his fault. It's totally someone else's fault, like the Federal Reserve, which he keeps trying to push into increasing interest rate or furthering interest rate cuts. So trying to cut the interest rate, which, yeah, that's actually one of the signs I've heard anyway, that cutting interest rates is actually a bad idea in the long term. What do you think, Maddie? I know you're the economic brain around here, or at least in my house.
Well, here's what you got to know about this. Everything that the president does is wrong. The end.
Yeah.
No, seriously,
Good talk.
there's absolutely nothing to any, like, keeping the interest rates low is a really bad idea.
Why is that?
Because I didn't know I was going to be put on the spot to talk about interest rates. No, so basically the way you raise the interest rate is you get an influx of cash into the economy. That's by printing and printing more money. You're getting more money into the economy. When you keep the interest rate low, you're basically working with the same amounts. You can't grow. It's good for people that want to invest or buy houses, but at the same time, it's bad for the economy.
So it's good for people that are looking to invest in real estate.
Yeah, it's definitely really good for people who work in real estate. That's definitely what someone who works in real estate would want.
That is interesting.
That is. I mean, that reminds me of someone, but I just can't put my finger on it.
Yeah, who would benefit from that? Anyway, well, apparently there are a lot of people urging him to chill out on the tariffs, maybe a little, because Christmas is coming, y'all. So, we got to worry about them Christmas sales. We can't, our shareholders cannot have this. You got to chill out, right?
Gonna hurt the bottom line.
Damn right.
Yeah. And apparently a lot of them don't know how to deal with all this because it's a shit show that should never began to begin with. But began to begin with. I am eloquent as a speaker.
I know what you meant.
Yay! At least I'm getting my message across, y'all. But yeah, so this is really just screwed up. It really is. And he knows, it's obvious that he knows that his reelection is dependent upon how the economy, how the state of the economy is. And he says, you have no choice but to vote for me because your 401k, that's a complete sentence. Everything is going down the tubes. Whether you love me or hate me, you've got to vote for me. Believe me, right?
What? None of that makes sense. That's not a sentence. That's not. There's nothing in that makes any sense. For one, the economy was doing just fine before Trump took office.
Yep.
Thanks, Obama.
Well, that's the killer for me, right? Because markets fluctuate. Anybody knows this. They go up, they go down. Different things impact the markets differently. The current market fluctuation is Trump. You can point to whenever tariffs were enacted, whenever policy decisions were made, and watch and look at the way that the big influencers on our economy, like China, reacted to these things, and you can point to the drops. Right? There's no mysterious force here. The economy was doing just fine. This isn't a natural slump that we need an economic genius to get out of, which is kind of like what he's trying to spin it as. This is, you really screwed shit up. Yeah.
And he's making the spin a lot worse. Of course, right? He's golfing, as this is in the article. And he's also saying, it's obvious that the media, the crooked media or fake news media, whatever, is just manipulating data to make him look bad. It's all fake news. Yeah. And the thing that's really scary about this is that there are people in the White House that will only show him good news about the economy.
Yep.
Well, that's not surprising.
That's their task.
That is so freaking scary. I mean, on one level, it's like, okay, maybe he doesn't need to be upset. Like, I get that. But on the other, it's like, holy shit, we have no one running this country. No one.
No. And so I would just like to say here, one more term of Trump, and there's only one way that Trump knows how to fix something that's failing. And that's bankruptcy.
Yeah.
So yay.
I can't even imagine that.
Technically we can't go bankrupt, like the actual government can't, but you can go deep into a recession.
Oh no, a government can't go bankrupt, but it can go into default. It can go into
right.
eras of hyperinflation if
Yep.
we're not
Mhm.
careful. And that's what happens. Okay, so let's go back and let's explain. When inflation, if you keep it low for an extended period of time, eventually you have to catch up to the world.
Mhm.
And what's
You got to compete with the foreign markets.
yes, with foreign markets and foreign currency, which then sends you into hyperinflation.
Yep. That's not a good place to be, y'all.
Basically making it to where our US dollar is worth less, right?
Well, not only that, but the problem here is that the U.S. economy is such a player in the world economy,
right,
that if we go into hyperinflation, it fucks everything, right? Like that, it's not good. It's not like, you know, we're enough of a player in the world economy that's going to really impact way more than just the good old United States.
Well, there's still a significant portion of the world that relies on the U.S. dollar as a basis of value for their own currency.
Yep.
And if our dollar drops, then their money drops. Recently with China and what they did with their currency for just a few hours, and then the fallout after that, the next few days, Australia lost something almost $100 billion in their economy.
Yep.
Mm.
And that was just a few hours of a trade war.
Yep.
Wow.
Mhm.
Wow. So apparently, according to this, consumer confidence has dropped 6.4% since July. The pessimism is furthering in the markets, and our manufacturing is going down. So that's great, right?
Can I point something out there real quick?
Yeah.
So something that the Trump administration has flouted for the entire time that he's been in office, pretty much, is consumer confidence has been incredibly high. And so the economy must be doing amazingly well.
Yeah.
And this is a flaw in how we judge the economy. Consumer confidence is just based on how consumers feel the economy is going.
Yep.
So your economy can be tanking, and consumers, they might be like, hey, everything's great. It's going to go well. We're going to have a great year. So let's buy a new building. And then 6 months down the road, they're out of business because, yeah, consumer confidence is not a great judge.
Yeah. Well, I think what the consumer confidence speaks toward is the trends that we're seeing in the economy itself. We're seeing the Dow go down. We've seen all kinds of really, really bad shit for the economy lately, right? So, yeah, and we're not getting, you know, all the wonderful jobs that we're supposed to be getting, particularly in manufacturing, the very thing that Trump promised he was going to. I'm going to be, you know, like totally a manufacturing savior. Fucking bullshit. And one of the things that was brought up is that Congress could approve the updated trade agreements with not China, but Canada and Mexico. That would somehow, I guess, help a little bit. It'll at least renew some of the charters they're about to expire. That's what they said. But I mean, with the whole China thing, it doesn't even matter, right? Because if you're not getting stuff from China, it's going to affect everything that we produce, pretty much. Majority of things that we produce and consume in the United States, right?
Not only that, the post-NAFTA trade deal, the U.S. ended up worse off than we were during NAFTA with that deal. So
way worse.
It's not going to help. That's not going to help. It's not a situation like if China just decides to put their foot down, we're basically screwed. But at the same time, like going back to the consumer confidence, what you have is you had a lot of people that fell hook, line, and sinker for Trump during the election.
Yep.
And Trump's a good businessman. He's going to bring jobs. He's going to fix everything. And so when he got into office, consumer confidence went through the roof. And then when he got the new tax bill signed and put into place, consumer confidence went through the roof because he's doing what he said he's going to do. And then we actually got the fallout from those decisions in his election and you have people looking around going, absolutely nothing that was promised was going to happen is actually happening.
So do you think they'll fall again for it?
I don't think his base will.
He's doing the same fucking thing now. Vote for me. I'll totally fix it, y'all. Even though I've been in power and had majority rule for long time.
His main base, his I believe it's like is it 14 to 17% of the voting was considered his main base.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
That is still going to vote for him no matter what in my mind.
Yeah.
But you also had a lot of independents. You had a lot of just fiscal conservatives that voted for him in the last election. I think that what we're going to see on the Republican side of things is a lot of people just take their ball and go home.
Yeah.
And won't vote in 2020. Because you also had a lot of first-time voters. Now, when I'm talking about his base, I'm not talking about all the working class that voted for him, because I think there are a lot of people that thought, well, at least he's a businessman, so he's going to be able to do some things. But you have people in like West Virginia and Kentucky who were promised that new mines were going to open up. And
clean coal, y'all.
No new mines are opening up.
Huh. It's almost as if that was all bullshit.
It's almost as if you can't run a country like a business.
Yeah, almost.
Especially a Trump business.
Yes.
So one thing that's been brought up here is that a lot of the downfall has to do with Boeing, and which is another thing that Trump was totally winning, is on airplane crashes, and then bam, airplanes start falling out of the sky. But yeah, that's another thing. But they're saying that now that that has passed, we might see a stronger economy, but it's going to be a slower growth rate than what we've gotten accustomed to.
I think anyone hoping for a strong economy while Trump is in office is a pipe dream. I have no hope for the next however long he's in office.
Yeah.
Like, he eats a lot of KFC, so there's always hope, but
finger looking good.
Yeah.
Now I want chicken.
Like a trade war with China, we lose. We cannot win a trade war with China. We cannot win I don't understand why. Like, how?
Hey,
this is a reality show,
right?
I almost like, I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say this. I just about guarantee there were people in this administration that was like, well, the China people over there, they're not white, so we can put one over on them and they'll do what we tell them.
Oh my God. So they actually buy into that stupid IQ nonsense that doesn't even, and even by that data, they're like, the only people that are superior to us are the Asians. Like, and that data is bullshit anyway, but oh my God, I just can't even.
So something
you can't play strong arm economics.
No.
Right. No. With somebody that you rely on as much as China. And that's what Trump does, right? That you look at the history of his businesses, right? He plays strong arm businessmanship. He plays New York style. You get little contractors that you can draw lawsuits out with that need to get paid, and you manhandle. It's all from a position of strength, and that's what he's trying to do with China, and it doesn't work because China can just go, hey, we'll devalue our currency for 6 hours and completely fuck your economy up,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, we don't play that game, right?
Well, and when it comes to, okay, so here's the deal. If we were in a trade war with maybe like the UK, we might be able to strong arm them a bit.
Yep.
But with China, now China is a lot more capitalistic than they were at one point, but they're still a communist country. And like all China really has to do is say, look at what these Americans are doing to us. We're sorry you're going to have to do without a little bit. And they can handle it. Like that's the like it's still an authoritarian regime over there.
Oh yeah.
And it's a situation where if they just tell their people, look, you're going to be a little more hungry than usual, deal with it. It's a little different than a country like the US. If that were to be the case, there would be rioting in the streets and everything.
Oh, if we lost a Dunkin' Donuts, can you imagine?
Yeah. Right.
Oh, we're gonna lose a lot more than Dunkin' Donuts here.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot lost. And
no
I
more
said,
Starbucks on every street? No, that'll be fun, y'all.
I said as soon as the House was won back by the Democrats that it was going to get a whole lot weirder for the next couple years, and it has not failed anything. It hasn't failed me yet. Like Trump has just been on a rampage.
Yep.
He's not a stable genius.
No, he keeps
Fucker.
telling me that. I know it has to be true because he keeps repeating it.
Here's the deal. When your economy is good and when your economy is going well, you can basically do no wrong.
Yep.
When your economy starts to tank and you have a government that you still haven't actually filled many key positions,
Yeah.
you're fucked. Like,
You're
there's
fucked.
no way. This isn't a case where he can just come in one day and be like, I'm firing the government and we're starting up. No, you can't do that.
I bet you he thinks he can, though.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I mean, he hasn't
probably.
even filled the positions, right? How many cabinet positions are unfulfilled? It's some ludicrously high number.
Well, there's thousands of minor ones as far as I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's-
and
there's-
a lot of major ones.
Yes, I believe there's
And-
over 100 major positions that haven't been filled.
The ones that he did fill, a lot of them wanted to see the very departments that they were overseeing to disappear.
Yeah.
Mhm. Like
Like,
the
No,
EPA.
it's so
Yeah.
wild. I mean, this is just it's so surreal.
yeah, and we're almost into re-election territory.
And this, I mean, again, but even though this is going south, right? His base, like especially the not quite so committed base, this can only hurt his re-election chances.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we have on one hand the economy's going down the toilet like quick, and everybody's thinking, "Oh shit, here comes another recession," and there's no one's feet to blame it. You can't blame big banks, you can't blame, the housing market, yada yada yada. It's Trump. Trump did it. And then on the other hand, you have him going nuts all over the Second Amendment, right? Talking about red flag laws and all this stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
What did you wake up this morning and go, you know what? I'm sick of pissing off the Democrats. I'll piss off all the Republicans too.
Trump
Yeah.
has no ethical standards. He has no ethical standards. He's
Oh,
going
no.
to do whatever he thinks is going to be the popular thing to do in
Yep.
any given situation.
Yeah,
And so
and that could change in an instant.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
In a
it's
second.
it's just everything is ridiculous about this. But like the positives that I see, I think it was a week and a half ago, there was the Secretary of Agriculture was giving a speech and answering questions, and a farmer from Iowa got up and started asking questions about why Trump had tanked the economy and what they were going to do and how they were going to fix it. And that farmer got like a huge ovation from people, everyone around. And
Nice.
that's farm country. And
Yeah.
I live there, and
It's up here too. Yeah.
it's really like
Those are the people that you don't want to piss off in this country,
Yep.
especially if you're a Republican.
yeah. Well, there's
These are
this thing
rural
is
people.
Trump only needs to lose about 3 percentage points in several key demographics, and he's fucked.
Yeah.
For that.
if he loses, so the working poor tend to vote Republican, but the working poor are also one of the demographics that tend to not vote in super high numbers.
They can't get off work usually.
Yeah, a lot of them work 2 or 3 jobs, and they just don't want to take off time to go and vote.
That's why I didn't vote for years, because I couldn't take off work. I had to get to work, y'all. I was busy.
And a lot of those people voted for Trump. And this time around, when they're looking at their finances and they're going, I'm in the exact same position that I was 4 years ago, or I'm worse off, like I've lost my health care.
Yeah.
They're going to stay home, or they're going to vote Democrat. So I'm very optimistic about 2020. I'm not like,
I'm terrified.
I'm terrified of what could happen up to 2020.
Yeah.
I'm very optimistic about the 2020 election. Like I
can't be.
A tapeworm could win against Trump.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I was pretty optimistic about 2016.
Right. And yet I was sitting there on election night, and I'm like, you know, he's going to be our next president. He's just going to be. And it ended up that way. And now my brain is going, well, it happened once.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I do not want to get complacent. Y'all, we have got to get involved. We got to vote. We got to tell other people to vote.
Everyone.
Yeah, get them out, because this is important. This is our lives that we're talking about. This is our pocketbooks that we're fucking talking about. Yes.
It's just,
yeah, that pretty much sums up the whole fucking thing, right? Just fuck. All right, y'all. You ready to move on to the next topic, or
yes?
Do we want to go some more?
Or some more.
Well, this is gonna make us all go
too. Yes, this.
Did you have something to say, Maddie?
No, go ahead.
All right. So there's a thing that happened. Well, I'll just show you what happened here. If we can. Holy shit.
And everybody mute while this plays. Okay, so you can that's probably it.
Yeah. So this guy, they said he was wearing a badge, and turns out he was a captain of this detention facility in Rhode Island. In Rhode Island. And yeah, he just drove right into the protesters. Like fuck y'all, I gotta get to work. I don't care if I run you over.
I mean, this is just a case of somebody that has been intravenously fed conservative politics for the last 5 years or 10 years, and have heard, if they're in front of you, you just drive over them.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I heard time and time again. Anytime there was any protest, people would be like, well, they just need to get out of the road. What if an ambulance, right? The ambulance. So they actually made, I don't know if y'all remember, but a few years back, they tried to, I don't know if they were enacted, but they pushed for laws to where it would make it legal for you to run over protesters in, what was it, South Dakota or...
Yeah, the only thing on that is if they had the disclaimer, if you feared for your life.
Yeah, and who's to say?
Yeah, it's a shitty thing, no matter what. But in that situation that we just watched, there's no fucking fear.
No. He's in a friggin' truck.
Yeah.
Did anyone get hit?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, a couple of people did. They actually had to be hospitalized, and then later on, afterward, some of the other people that were working at the facility pepper sprayed them, and 3 more people had to go to the hospital.
Oh, Jesus.
And this was less than 2 minutes after the driver used the walkie-talkie to call his buddies in, and they surrounded the protesters and started spraying them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can they even do that?
Well, they're under investigation, and apparently he resigned. I don't know about the other people, but they're investigating, so it's gonna be fine, y'all.
They're investigating themselves, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that's the way that you do it.
Yep.
The best way.
Yeah, it's the only way. Because oversight, who needs that? Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, self-investigation is key. Turns out we did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so fucked up. My God, this country.
But yeah, the thing that makes it worse to me is, these people were a part of an action group called Never Again, and what they're saying is, hey, the Holocaust was fucking bad.
Yeah.
Let's not do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Many of these people are children and grandchildren of Holocaust survivors.
Yeah.
That are doing these protests. And so then you're going to run your truck into them, which...
Mm-hmm.
That looks great.
Yeah. Just, well, not even the optics. What this does, like... Heather Heyer, like everyone, like the second this happened, like it brings to memory Heather Heyer getting mowed down.
Yep.
And you're not doing anyone any favors by this bullshit. It's just absolutely abominable what this man did. And then the pepper spraying that happened afterwards.
Yeah. And one of the people that were injured by the truck was 64 years old, and he suffered a fractured leg and internal bleeding. This man could have died.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a joke, y'all. This is a big ass truck, and you're running over people. Like, I can't even, y'all. You have a right to protest.
Yes.
You have a right to peaceful demonstration, and they were the peaceful ones, so...
Well, and the thing that...
You don't have a right to fucking injure people because you want to get through.
Well, you don't have a right to injure people, and the right likes to push this, that there's a proper way to protest. Protests are supposed to be intrusive. They're supposed to be in your face and annoying and bothersome. That's the whole point of a protest.
It's called civil disobedience for a reason.
Yes.
It's supposed to disrupt. That's the only way you can get folks' attention.
Mm-hmm.
The only way.
You have 3 people standing over in a corner going, we don't like this.
Right. Yeah, that's totally going to make a difference.
Please stop.
Right.
Please.
Yeah.
And we, sorry, you just got a $10 donation from Sosh.
Yay. Thank you, Sosh.
It just says, ugh.
Yeah.
Which I agree. Thank you, Sosh.
Sosh said it all, y'all.
Yep.
Said it all. Yeah, but they were chanting shame, the whole world is watching, you fucking Nazi. I mean, yeah. Like, and if you're gonna be one of those people that's like, oh, you don't get to call people a Nazi, fuck you, you don't get to run over people.
Yeah, no shit.
I don't give a flying fuck what he was called. You don't get to do that. You don't. And even if they were breaking the damn law, which they weren't, you don't get to run them over. I don't know why this is so hard for some people to get. I just can't.
Well, the thing about it is even if they were breaking the law, like we said, they weren't. Mowing them down with the truck is not the way that you apprehend criminals, right?
Yeah.
Right. You don't. That's what blows my mind about all this. Because if what they were doing was illegal or restricting access that was necessary, things like that, there are ways to go about apprehending people one of those ways is not let's run them over with the truck.
Right.
So even if you take the side that, well, they shouldn't have been blocking that parking lot, the answer still is not run them over. The answer is, well, you're the captain of a detention facility. You probably know something about detaining people. And so you get out there and you remove them, right? That it doesn't make any sense.
Nope. Not in any possible world does this make sense, and it's okay. None of them. Anyway, anything else before we move on? Okay. So Casey has a topic, and what I figured we'd do is, if you want to present this, that'd be fine, and we could just follow along.
Thank you.
Do you want me to just read the article, or?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, whatever works best. This one I found while perusing the Rare site. If you want to know where one of my biggest sources of humor news is, it's Rare. This one, though, was just on their news section, and it's mom concerned after temperature on school bus reaches 138 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, people. It's no secret that it's been absolutely hot this summer. Heck, people in the South are getting so hot that they would just rather stay inside all day and just hide in the air conditioning. I mean, at least that's what I do. It's terrible, and unfortunately we can't do anything to control it because that's Mother Nature for you. But what a lot of us seem to forget about during the summer is school buses. What about school buses? Well, basically, school buses don't have air conditioning, which is worrisome for some parents. Which is why Jessica Granger, a mother in Alabama, was highly concerned for her son when he came home from school one day. Granger stated her 6-year-old had a headache and was nauseous due to the heat from the school bus. To try to help out the mother, Houston County Superintendent David Sewell met with staff to discuss ways to avoid the, I'm sure it's supposed to be abominable heat on school buses.
Abdominal
heat.
Yeah, that's how me get hot.
Abdominal heat is what leads to troubled pants. I'm just saying.
I can attest. So they have a tweet here. This year is poised to be one where passing school bus deaths might outpace hot car deaths since people seem to be driving dumber. Let's see if we can offset that. Sewell encouraged bus drivers to leave the windows open all day so it will be a bit cooler for when students board in the afternoon. The superintendent also wants to put water on board for the students until the heat wave passes, which honestly isn't a bad idea since excessive heat can lead to dehydration. Granger agreed with the superintendent, but is now urging for the buses to have air conditioning. In Alabama, only those that transport special needs students are required to have air conditioning. Trying to see how hot it gets inside a school bus, Houston County placed a digital thermometer this week, which showed that the temperature rose to 138 degrees.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
That's deadly.
Mm-hmm.
Deadly temperatures.
Easy. The vehicle had been sitting idle while waiting to pick up students. Granger stated she wants the Alabama legislature to pass a law making it mandatory for buses to have a cooling unit. Unfortunately, there are still no current plans for lawmakers to address the issue.
I can't help but wonder. I bet this has to do with funding. Tell me. This has to do with no.
Look.
No air conditioners say no lives. What's wrong with you?
Our lawmakers suck so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're just so bad. Yeah, it'll have to do with funding, but hey, look, y'all, everything's fixing to get better because here in poor Alabama, where people have shit median incomes and everything else, guess what we just enacted? That's right, a gas tax hike.
Oh my God.
So yeah. In September, fuel is going to be taxed more heavily to offset the cost of our roads. And I mean, there's no way. There's absolutely no way. Like half of the school buses driving around here are falling to pieces.
Mm-hmm.
not going to get air conditioning on them. Get real.
This whole thing is just so boring to Maddie. We're just
no, it's not boring to me. I'm just like
I had to call you out.
I yawned. No one saw me yawn, but Snarky called it out. I was just going to say, I can remember school buses being horribly hot. And you can get horrible burns just by sitting down on a school bus in like shorts. And it's a serious issue. Like, I don't know what the key here is, because like Evan said, they don't have the money for this, and they're not going to get the funding to do this. It's, I mean, you could look at like the temperatures and say, okay, kids can't go to school today. But yeah, it's.
What kind of gouging is this, though? It says it could cost up to $10,000 per bus.
Yep.
Well, I don't know on that.
That don't seem right.
It wouldn't surprise me if it didn't, because there's a lot more that goes into installing air conditioning on a vehicle than just, chunking one in the window.
Like a huge portion, which, I mean, technically you could do that.
Yeah, but then you'd have to have inverters and things like that.
Just give them all a fan like that one up there. It'd be all right.
Well, I mean, the good news is look, this is Alabama, and at the point of birth, we no longer give a shit about the kids.
That's true.
Right. So who cares if the little fuckers die? Is exactly the way that the school system is going to look at it. I mean, look at our graduation rates. Look at our school system in general, right? Depending on which list you look at, we're either 49th or 50th. And so that ain't very good, y'all. And even in the stats where we were good, like graduation rates, oh yeah, we were just lying about that. It's like, it's so ridiculous. This is not surprising.
I will say
at all.
One thing, like Texas is pretty bad, and it kind of throws some shade at Alabama, saying, you think it's hot over there? What's it like in Texas, y'all? But when it comes to education, holy shit, Alabama. Holy shit. Like, Texas is bad, but wow. Alabama's worse when it comes to this. And one of the things, too, like, if you really want your children to be educated, maybe don't have them worry about, am I going to die of heat exhaustion today?
Right.
Like, wow.
I mean, that's a good option, not have your kids worrying about dying of heat exhaustion.
Yep. That's the first step to a better education.
Yes.
Right.
It should be.
We don't die on the way to school.
Should be the minimal.
Yeah.
And I only laugh because it's either that or cry on stream, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, it's Alabama is, our education system is so absolutely bonkers. It needs such incredible reform, right? Because there are funding issues, but that's not the whole story. Our Board of Education blows, our lawmaker blows. There's just so much here. You could give the schools unlimited funding and things would still be just as bad.
Wow. That's sad.
It is.
It's part of the myth here, right? In Alabama is, well, you invest most of your money into sports programs so that, all the little football players can go to play football at the University of Alabama or Auburn. Yeah. And such a small fraction of a percent of the people that go to high school actually make it into the college program and then actually play in the college program. But that's what we teach our kids, right? The schools here do it every damn day.
What if they decide?
The most important thing, the massive amounts of the budget go towards the sports programs. And the hope is that you can get a college scholarship and it'll be okay.
What if they decide to go to another state? What if they're like, oh, I want to go to U of H or A&M or something?
The point is that you get them to invest heavily in sports and then go through. Like they cut the crap. They just eliminate arts programs. They combine, like the local schools combine your coaching positions with another teaching position.
Oh yeah.
History, things like that. And you got somebody that doesn't know, anything about the subject that they're teaching, but they need to do that so that they can pay the teacher more than the school next county over so that we can beat them in the championship.
You know
there's
what?
so much wrong
with
the school system from the bottom up here, right? No amount of funding would fix it. Period.
Yeah, my mom was secondary ed, right? And that's what she got certified in. She wasn't a coach, right? But she was trying to get a job in Texas as a high school teacher. She couldn't do it. You know why? Well, are you a coach? Because you gotta be a coach. That's the number one prerequisite for being a teacher in Texas. It's pretty much you gotta be a coach. If you're a coach, you're in.
That's pretty much most of the U.S. My initial major was history. I wanted to be a history teacher, and I looked at every job listing I could find, and it was all high school football coach plus history.
Yep.
Bullshit, y'all. Well, anything else on the buses? It's hot in them buses. Don't die in that Alabama heat, y'all.
Yeah.
Don't do it. That's good advice. So, Evans, Maddie, do y'all have anything you want to rant about for a minute?
I don't really have a rant. I would just like to make a statement that, two statements. If you're a member of my Patreon at 9:30 tonight, I will be doing it's not pre-recorded on Patreon. We will be pre-recording an episode of Talking with Maddie with Godless Cranium on my Patreon at 9:30 Central Time tonight. So there's that. And then the second thing, Essence of Thought released a awesome video today. And I'm just saying, if you are still in the position that Essence of Thought or myself or other trans content creators who called out rationality rules and the bullshit that went on during that time, if you still think that we're the ones that are in the wrong, you're a shitty person. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Agreed. And I don't understand either. Like, at this point, you have to know that Rationality Rules was wrong and that video was transphobic. And if you're still going, oh, go wait and see, you've lost your damn mind.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's been shown.
But Snarky, one sentence one sentence mined out of a study maybe could be interpreted in a way that kind of made it seem that he was possibly right, unless you read the entire study. Yeah. I mean, the science is still out, right?
We can't know.
Not truly.
You can't know anything until every single scientist on Earth and every single paper on Earth is about this topic. And only then will we know. And even then, there'll be new scientists born, and we'll have to wait for them to grow up and do their studies, and then we can maybe know.
See, like, the thing about that is do more studies, but don't take these people's rights away. You don't have sufficient evidence to take away human rights. That's just fucking all there is to it. I can't believe this. Like, I'm waiting for all those people that told me I was full of shit to go, you know what? You were right. You know, we were wrong. It was transphobic. And yes, there was more than one video. And the shit that happened at the ACA was wrong. It was a hostile takeover by awful people. I'm just saying. And yeah. Where are those people at? Like, seriously, where y'all at?
They're gone. They
evaporated.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you can take your virtue signal thing and shove it up your ass, because it's all y'all seem to have is virtue signal. You don't seem to walk the walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, of course not.
So Evans, do you got anything?
No, I'm dry.
You dry?
I'm here for a good time, y'all.
Yay! Good times.
I'm tagging along on this one.
Cool. That's fine. Either way, right? Did I mess up the whole thing?
No.
Okay.
Well, quit moving it. Move it back up.
I've got a topic. I think Maddie should speak more gently to Snarky.
I'm sorry.
Right? Yeah.
I'm sorry.
This was going on before we went live.
Well, you said, did I mess that up? And I said no, and then you moved it down. And I was like, what?
That's my topic for tonight. That's what's going on.
I like that topic.
Yep.
I agree.
I'm sorry, Snarky. I love you.
I love you too. You owe me one. So wish me luck on this topic, because there's a lot of foreign names on that, and y'all know I'm terrible at the pronunciations, but I will do my best. So shit in Russia is really bad. Yeah, and we're going to go into why. There is an activist that is emerging as one of the new leaders of a resistance in Moscow. Resistance in terms of their election process. Her name is Lyubov Sobol, and she is running for councilman on there, or trying to, but they're not letting her because she is opposed to the oligarchs in Russia. And she wants free and fair elections. Holy shit. I mean, it's not like Russia has a free and fair election problem or anything. Right. So this woman is right now, the stuff that I've looked into in terms of her career, her activism, I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty happy that she's doing this. She's speaking truth to power, and she's getting people riled up. Right. As a lot of people know, let me just go ahead and share a quote from Sobol to kind of let you know what she's all about. She says, the attitude to me, first of all, she's talking in regards to the refusal of the election authorities to allow independent candidates. She says, the attitude to me is different because I work harder than others and I don't let people get away with lies. I'm not afraid of telling people to their face what I think of them. This includes the Kremlin-friendly media and the election officials there, who are obstructing as much as they can to have actual free and fair elections. So, yeah, there have been a lot of protests going on in her name for weekly protests have been going for over a month. And nearly 24 candidates from across the political spectrum have been excluded from the September 8 election, it says. So recently, in one of these protests, more than 2,000 people were detained. Videos got out of the riot police beating protesters, and, it didn't look very good, but hey, this is Russia. This is how they handle things. This is how they handle opposition. They use heavy-handed tactics, and yeah, it's pretty bad. One thing I think is really cool about this woman is her name translates to love in Russian, Lyubov. Or, yeah, Lyubov. Isn't that how it's pronounced? I don't remember. That's the best I can do, though, y'all. But it means love in Russian, and that is cool as fuck. But yeah, she graduated from a prestigious law school, and she's been the most visible against the corruption and the leadership, mainly, as it says here, Alexei Navalny. She also uncovered ties between the Russian government and the tycoon Yevgeny Prigozhin. I don't know. But he was the one that was indicted for allegedly funding the internet trolls and all that interfered with the US election in 2016. Even though he denies, of course, that any wrongdoing was done there. And apparently he also had some companies that did some catering that were linked to an outbreak of dysentery in schools, which he also denies. So yeah, Russia, nothing ever bad happens under the Putin's Russia. I mean, it just doesn't. It's all fake news. That's kind of a familiar tone. But yeah, apparently she had a YouTube channel that now is getting the audiences riled up, especially since they have Kremlin controlled TV stations. And of course, those are going to report whatever the fuck the Kremlin wants. So, in order to get any kind of opposition, you have to pretty much just do it online, which, yeah. So, she's a very strong political leader. She's also been in a hunger strike.
30 days, it said.
30 days. Yep. And she's still like just composed enough to say, fuck the Kremlin, basically. Right. But yeah, she wants free and independent media, all the stuff that we have here that we take for granted and Trump says is awful. She wants that stuff. It's almost as if it's a good thing. So yeah. Let's see. She got into some debates. She's a mother of a 5-year-old. She's also gotten a lot of backlash, of course, from the oligarchs who are portraying her as a bad parent and even compared her to a bedbug. Yeah, she's not showing any compromise. Kind of reminds me of like an AOC figure from what, is being presented here and on other things that I've looked into. But yeah, of course, people that are trying to, silence her and push back against this are saying stuff like, this divisiveness is called for, but Sobol could alienate some liberal voters because of her emotionally charged negative style. Holy shit. That sounds familiar. I think I've heard that a time or two here. Anyways. But yeah, this is a lot of other people agree, but mostly the people that are against the Kremlin, right? Let's see what else. Some people are being charged with rioting. Everyone's angry because they want to stand for their rights, and she just keeps pushing on for that. And I think that's really cool. One thing that it highlights here is, of course, there's also some stuff going on in Hong Kong in terms of protesting, but she dismisses the comparisons to that because they're not as violent. It's obvious here that the law enforcement in Russia is the violent ones, right? I mean, there's video evidence of that. And yeah, stuff is really breaking down there in terms of how much the populace is going to take of the corruption and the abuse that they're suffering. So yeah. What do y'all think?
She's brave.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Like anyone that stands up to Putin and Putin's regime is incredibly brave.
Oh yeah. How many people have died suddenly, mysteriously?
Yeah.
For speaking up against Putin and his regime.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not we get wacky conspiracy theories over here, Clinton body count, Trump body count, yada yada yada. That actually happens over there frequently. Like it's not it's not a conspiracy. If you oppose Putin and his regime, you're likely to have an unfortunate accident.
Yeah. And no matter what country you're in, there was a Britain. I think he was he sought asylum in Britain, and then all of a sudden he got really, really sick, and before you knew it, he was dead.
Yeah. I mean, that's people that stand up, like especially somebody in her position. She knows she's likely going to die for this. Like it's a real high probability that she doesn't make it. And the fact that she's still willing to do so speaks very highly of her courage. Like that's anybody that's knows what they're going to get into beforehand and still feels the moral conviction to do so because they think that they can make a difference. like hats off to you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I could.
Yeah. And I definitely, I can't imagine a hunger strike for a month, just because they wouldn't let me run for legislature. I mean, that just, wow, that's commitment. And she's a mom.
Yep.
She's got a lot to lose. But this is important enough. It's important enough for her kid to fight for this, to fight for freedom and for fair elections and for the truth, right? Because they're told all kinds of awful propaganda, and they're just really under Putin's thumb.
Yep.
And that's what's really so scary to me about the Russia-Trump connection is this is what he admires. This is what Trump admires, is dictatorship. People like Putin. These are his friends.
Oh yeah, Trump would love to be able to take out Omar and AOC and other people that speak out against him. He would love that.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, one of the things that the crowds and him kept saying over and over again, lock her up, his political opponent. I mean, that right there, it just, I don't think the media even knew what to do about that, right? Because that was unheard of. Unfreaking heard of. Here in this country.
And the fact that his base would also want that. His base would also love if he was full dictator and could do shit like that. They would fucking love that. And that to me is even sadder than just one man wanting this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's been a anti-democracy sentiment growing.
Yep.
Right. And it's not just on the right-leaning side. I've heard it out of plenty of more liberal left-leaning, especially off on the extreme left, because everybody has the idea, well, if it was just my person in charge and they could just take care of it, then everything would be better.
And it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way. Like, democracy is not perfect, but we'll miss it whenever it's gone.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Agreed. So yeah, it's really, really rough over there, y'all. This is not what we want in our countries.
Nope.
At all.
I mean, some people do, but no, not really.
Some people think they do.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, if you're considering authoritarianism as a good idea, switch around and make it to where it's your opponent who gets that authoritarian power.
It's somebody else holding the gun, not you.
Right.
People never look at that, because I mean, there were situations during the Obama administration that they gave Obama powers over certain things.
Yep.
And it was, well, we it's written in that he has this power, but Obama's never going to use it. And it's like, well, what are the likelihoods that Obama stays president for the rest of eternity?
Right.
Yep.
So yeah, you always have to look at it as, is this necessary, and would I be okay with this if the shoe was on the other foot?
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Well, those are my stories, y'all. That's my stories. That's what we got.
She's sticking to it.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm sticking to it.
That's a Paul Harvey joke. And if you know Paul Harvey, you're old like me.
Paul Harvey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I remember Paul Harvey.
Yeah, I remember
Well,
Paul.
awesome.
That's because you're old like me.
We listen to him all the time.
We're all old. Evans is like, who's Paul Harvey?
I've heard that name before.
But you well,
Evans is like, is that the that's the linebacker for the Niners this year, right?
I don't even like sports ball. So.
Yeah, we're not even going to get into Casey Kasem. That's
I know Casey Kasem.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's saving then.
There's hope for you yet, Evans. There's hope for you yet.
Well, let's not go too far.
You're only 3 years behind me.
Listen, kids, do you want to hear the top 40 pop tunes of the decade read to you by the oldest human being on Earth? That's what you get with Casey Kasem.
Pretty much.
And that's the rest of the story.
We're going to be listening to TLC's Red Light Special.
Yeah.
We have a dedication tonight that goes out to so-and-so from Tennessee.
You got Casey Kasem started out when all the music was like, I love sunshine, I love flowers. And then at the end of his time, he's like, and up next is 50 Cent with Ho's Gonna Be Hoeing. And
it all went downhill from there. This generation, y'all, I'm gonna tell you, they don't make them like they used to.
That's right.
So, all right, so it's time to shill yourselves. So do that, Maddie.
I'm Maddie from Objectively Subjective. You should come and subscribe to me. And you should also join my Patreon because, like I said, I'm going to be having an interview with Godless Cranium on my Patreon in about an hour and a half. And it won't actually appear on my channel until the beginning of September. So you'd get to see it live and a full pretty much 2 weeks early. So, yeah. Come and check that out. And,
only $1 a month will get you.
Only $1 a month. You'll be able to watch this. This shit's gonna be hot.
Smoking. Not as hot as the Alabama bus, but pretty hot.
True, right.
Yeah. All right. Hashtag?
Hey, hashtag Heathen. I'm on the hashtag Heathen channel. Probably next up will be my costumed character gig. I just finished the script today. And Greg can't even see me in that outfit without cringing internally. So there's that. And then otherwise a couple of books in the wings, but yeah, subscribe and catch my shenanigans over there.
You seriously need to wake up in the middle of the night and put that get up on and then roll over and just start holding Greg.
Yeah, and make sure that you videotape it. You know,
I can't help but to think that the cringing is a slightly better, maybe a better look than what could otherwise be done.
Right.
Instead of that, if he was very excited whenever you put it on, that would be.
Oh, that would be so much worse.
If he was like, hashtag, if he was like, Casey, I got some troubled pants whenever you got that on.
Yeah.
Right. No, he just, when I had it on for that one, I think it was an after show for one of the Friday night shows, he would just like, he couldn't even look at me.
That's wonderful. I love it. I can't wait for that to come out.
Yeah.
All right. So, Faithless Southerner.
Yes, I am Evans of the Faithless Southerner channel. You should go subscribe to me. It is primarily devoted to what comes after atheism. Should have new content tomorrow, provided everything goes as planned and I don't get pulled in for another collaboration. So, there you go. Go sub.
Yeah, do it. Do it. Sub to all these fine people. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. And hey, I have a Patreon as well. And I have a new patron. Thank you again, Alhana. And yeah, I also have Amazon wishlist. And there's some random burping, I guess.
No, I didn't burp. I just wanted to say I know what comes after atheism. Australia.
Alphabetically.
What?
Alphabetically, they mean.
Yeah.
That doesn't.
Atheism, then Australia. ATAU.
Oh my God.
Shut up, Evans.
They're not in the same categorical
Shut up, Evans.
landscape.
Non sequitur does not follow. Anyway. So yeah, be my patron, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.
I thought atheism comes before Australia. was good.
Special
Look,
thank you
all that
to all my
matters is
lovely
that I come
patrons.
first.
I so appreciate your support. Also, make sure you like, share, and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get notifications.